Hi everyone, I'm Hayley. I'm always in the craft room, and today I have my last few summer plans. So the season is drawing to a close here in the UK. It took a while to get going, and then it's been really warm and lovely. So we've had a bit of a mixed bag. But before I get ready for autumn sewing, there are a few things I'm desperate to make and a few fabrics that I don't want to put into the stash. So let's get on with it. The first fabric I'd like to use up is this panel print, which is a jersey. I think it's a cotton, might have some poly in there, but it's got good recovery, a nice bit of stretch, and these beautiful white daisies with a navy background. And I would like this to just be a really simple t-shirt. I'm thinking I do want fitted. So I have a few t-shirt patterns for t-shirts with grown-on sleeves. Now, in hot weather, that is my preference because I feel like you get a little bit more ventilation than with a set-in sleeve. However, I would like to wear this with my two pairs of linen trousers, which I've made in navy and beige. And because they're quite a wide leg, I think a really fitted t-shirt will be nice. So I'm thinking the Itch to Stitch Idlewild cap sleeve option. It's a great pattern that it's got all the different necklines, all the different sleeves. I've made it loads of times before and I know I like it. So yeah, I just need to get on and cut it out, don't I? And let's face it, it's a t-shirt. That will actually be a really quick make. The thing that takes me the longest always with something like this is that I use 3 different machines to get it done, so they all need rethreading. So I'll use like my sewing machine to base the neckband in, but then I'll do most of the construction on my overlocker, and then my cover stitch I'll use for the hems. So it's a 3 machine job, but you know what? When I thread my machine's navy, it never goes to waste, does it? There's always something on my cutting table that needs a navy thread. So that's the first one. The second one is this pattern, which it is the same fabric. I have tried wearing this Pattern Scout Flora top with these Mimi G for Simplicity shorts, and honestly, it's a bonkers look. Because this is pleated and then flares and then these are gathered. There's so much fabric. It's so pink. It's too bright even for me. But I really like these shorts. I've worn them much more than I thought I would. I really bought that pattern on a whim, like one afternoon, and cut them out that evening, but I have worn them a lot more than I thought. However, there is one thing I don't love about them, and I don't know if you can see it on camera, but this fabric has a slight sheen, and I don't love that. So I would like to make a pair in a non-sheeny fabric to replicate a look I just saw on a lady walking down a street one day. Does that happen to anyone else? I was literally just driving somewhere and a lady was just walking down the pavement wearing these gorgeous, flowy, really wide leg, linen-y kind of trousers. Very gathered, very flowy, and I absolutely loved the look. And I do have a fabric that might be suitable for that, which is a really lovely, expensive linen. So before I do that, I want to be sure if I'll like them and if I'll wear them in a longer length. I do think this pattern only comes as shorts, but I can't see any issue with just lengthening them. I'm going to try it and we'll find out. And the fabric I found in the stash is this one, which coincidentally they're both from Rainbow Fabrics. And I think this is just a viscose. Looks quite sheer there, but gathered and on my lower half, I really do think it will be fine. And it's lovely and soft, super drapey, and crucially, it's got no sheen to it. So I have not got a lot of it, but you know me. I love the challenge of cutting something out of far less fabric than you ought to need. And if necessary, I could reduce the size of these leg fronts because this is a lot of gathering. And I must say, I didn't do a great job on this gathering. It's not very even, which normally doesn't bother me, but because it's literally front and center, when I wear them, there are obviously a lot more pleats on one side of my waist than the other. Can you see how there's hardly any here? So it does look a bit odd. So next time I will pay closer attention to that. Also, if you watch Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room, which I'm sure you do because she invented the wonderful hashtag Friday Sews that I try to do every week, she recently showed how to use a gathering foot on your sewing machine, which I've never tried. That said, I'm not sure I've got one, but I do have loads of feet that came with a machine that I've never used, so I may well. So I might give that a go with this project just to speed up the gathering because it is a bit laborious. They have an invisible zip up the centre back, which I find so comfortable because it naturally sits in that hollow and then you can't feel it. We all know I can feel a zip from like 10 paces. I'm like the princess and the pea. So I do need to check whether I've got a black suitable zip in my stash. But then we can get on with that. And the last thing I would like to do before summer is over is something I've been thinking about talking about for 18 months, I'd say. And that is another version of this Vogue pattern. It's Vogue 8784. And I previously made this dress, but without the sleeves. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And the detail that I adore so much is these pleats at the waistline. Oh, they're just so elegant. I did things a little bit differently. I didn't line it as suggested in the pattern. I just bias bound the entire front. But anyway, what I would like to do is make this again as a top. Ooh. So yeah, the way I'm going to do it is try on the dress I already have. I've got it hanging over there so that I can try it on this afternoon. And I'm literally just going to kind of place a pin or measure where I want the skirt that we're now going to call a peplum to come to, and then I'll just cut the skirt just that long. Of course, I only have a metre of fabric. I'm going to insert a photo of the fabric because it is actually all laid out over there, because I started trying to cut it out last night and then realised that before scissors hit fabric, I need to know how long I want to make the peplum so that I can be sure everything fits. When I play pattern Tetris, which, let's be honest, is every single time I make something, I always make sure I've got a layout where everything fits before I start cutting, because otherwise I get a bit overambitious and think I'll be able to cut a collar out later, and then there's nothing left. So I want to be sure I've got enough before I cut anything out. And I don't think I will have enough fabric to make a binding to go all the way around the neck. So I do have some pre-bought hot pink bias binding, and you'll see the fabric is red with hot pink spots. So I may well just use that. I'm not really sure. I do have enough to cut out the little cap sleeves, and I would like to, but I do recall on the dress, I cut the sleeves and then didn't like them. Could have just been the fabric, the print or something. So I have got enough to cut them out, I'm pretty sure. I will cut them out and I'll probably baste one on, leave one off and decide what I think. But I really think that is going to make a very cute little peplum top to wear with jeans. So yeah, I'll be glad to finally get that done, because as I say, that fabric has been in the stash. It's probably coming up for 2 years. So I'd like to get that gone. Once those 3 things are done, I'm moving on to autumn sewing. So many of you left me really encouraging comments on the video where I mentioned that and said you would like to see a bit of an autumn planning session. So watch out for that coming soon. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.